Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. We did this last week and it went down really well, so we're going to do it again. It is my deadline preview stream. We are going to go through all the key questions that you guys have got and of course cover all the big topics. So this week we're going to obviously be discussing Solanki and potential replacements for him. Kwanzaa and Barco, very similar situation with obviously kind of replacements. We're also going to be talking about whether or not it is worth using that triple captainship on Erling Haaland this game week and running through all the key stats you need to make the best decisions this week. If you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as we are super close to hitting that 7,000 subscriber mark, and it would be absolutely immense if we could do that over the course of this weekend. Obviously, if you're an already existing subscriber and want to help the channel out as well, make sure to hit that like button. It will push it out to more people, which is exactly what we want to see. I can already see we've got some of the kind of moderators and channel members in the chat. Laura Riley's in here. She's saying hi to everyone. Hi, Laura. Hope you're doing well. And Jamie Hayes as well, one of our channel moderators. He asks how I'm doing. I'm doing pretty good, mate. I hope you're doing good as well. Of course, there will be a deadline stream tomorrow as well. We'll be starting nice and early, all the way from 8 o'clock up until the deadline. So I'll be live for around 3 hours tomorrow. So again, we'll be talking through all the key stuff, going through early team news, and of course, rating your teams as well. So obviously, if you want your team rating, make sure you are following me on Twitter. That is in the bottom left for you guys. And obviously, I'll put the tweet out tomorrow so you can get your team rated by myself. Of course, though, if you do want your team rating for free, there is a link in the description that will take you to Fantasy Football Hub. Obviously, if you want to pay for their kind of more premium features, if you like, which are definitely worth doing, obviously, you know, by using my link, you help support my channel as well. So it's a win-win for both of us, really. You get an amazing product, I get a little bit in return, and it helps keep the channel kind of ticking along, if you like. Ticking along. Right, let's see what questions we've got before we dive into anything else. So obviously, it does pay to be nice and early in these streams as well. VJ has said hi from windy Yorkshire. Yeah, it's definitely been a little bit windy today, to be honest. A few trees blown around my mind, so yeah. Henrik has said, I had Solanki, Belgrave, Kwanzaa, Barco, Johnson. Oh my days. He transferred Kwanzaa for Robinson. I like that. Belgrave to start. Or should I take a -4 on Solanki to fix this? Muniz would be my first choice. Yeah, we'll come on to talk about potential replacements, but I think that's probably the right move, especially if you've not really got too much bench cover, to be honest. Hey, from Australia, looking forward to this week. I hope so, man. Bentancur knock. Oh, yeah, to be fair, Bentancur with that knock, I think maybe then just leave it for this week and then maybe see what the position is for Solanki next week as well. Laura has said, really unsure about Nkuku. Could bench him, start him, haul or sell. I think I'd start him. I think with him getting an early substitution yesterday, I know he played in a heavily rotated side for that Europa League game, but I still think he'll start the game tomorrow because Neto, it looks like, isn't going to feature. So that means that for me, personally, it feels like he is going to be either on the left, through the 10 as the middle. Could even play up front. Like, Jackson didn't do anything absolutely amazing either. Just turn my microphone volume up so you guys can hear me. But yeah, Jackson didn't do anything like out of the ordinary to obviously warrant him starting every single week. So I think I'd keep Nkuku for one more week. It's very early to judge players like that. I have Solanke, but already used my transfer, so I have to bench him. Yep, there is a poll as well going around in the chat, so if you do have Solanke this week, get yourself in there. Currently, 44% of people are selling in, 16 holding, 9 unsure what to do, and 31% never even had him. Lovely start. Scotty has said, early start, love it. Nearly as much as a Crowley 18-pointer. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, for those that don't play Fantasy EFL or are looking for Fantasy EFL content, obviously I post daily on Twitter about it. I'm also posting a weekly video on the YouTube channel as well. And I think once we've done a little bit of jiggery pokery with the old goalkeeper replacement, we will be probably, I reckon, around 27th in the world on that game before tonight's game kicks off. So pretty sweet indeed, to be honest. Trying to have a quick scan through of any other questions. Hey Tom, which back three do you prefer? Hall, Gavardio, Gabriel, or Hall, Gavardio, Robinson? Ooh, I think if I was to bench anyone here, I would be benching Hall. I would play a back three of Gavardio, Gabriel, and Robinson. Haul away, like statistically, defenses away from home don't keep as many clean sheets. But we'll come on to look at all the data from Rob T FPL regarding clean sheets, so that might make you help your decision as well. Obviously, if you're a little bit unsure as well with certain decisions like this, Fantasy Football Hub will probably be your best tool, to be honest. So again, like I said, there is a link in the description. We'll come back to answer some more questions from you guys as well, but I do want to obviously start off with the big thing that is obviously, of course, Dominic Solanki and Pedro Porro. Those were, well, I mean, Pedro Porro was already flagged. Obviously, now we don't have to worry about him. He's been past fit, should be featuring, so that's already null and void. I would not worry about him as a potential, obviously, transfer to take out this week. Dominic Solanki, on the other hand, obviously, if you've, been away from social media or you don't have social media, your only source of information is YouTubers or content creators like myself, then you will have not heard the news that Dominic Solanki will miss the game against Everton. And FPL, in the actual game itself, currently have him flagged till the 15th, which is game week 4, the first week after the international break. And I think that's probably very fair where he's going to be. So if you did go for him, it is a little bit unfortunate. He definitely looked good, and I feel he could have done well against a weakened Everton back line, but that's not the case. He is now out injured, and we do obviously have to look for potential replacements to obviously go, to replace him. Very simple as that. So these are the ones that I have outlined. Obviously, if you've got a little bit more money in the bank, people like Kai Havertz, Watkins might be a little bit on the menu for you. But realistically, I think around that 7 million price tag, there isn't too many kind of forwards that are screaming out to me. Maybe Richarlison, but again, feels very, very short-sighted with the transfer window still open and rumours about him potentially going to Saudi as well. And obviously with Dominic Solanki maybe being only a short-term injury, doesn't really feel like he's a relevant pick. So these for me are the top 5 players, if I did have Dominic Solanki, that I would be potentially considering. We've got Muniz, Visser, João Pedro, Armstrong and Calvert-Lewin. As you can see, we've got their per 90 data for goal involvement. This is from last season. Obviously, we can't really look at this season. And I think with one game as well, we don't have enough data to obviously build conclusive conclusions off either. So we can't really use any data from last week. Also as well, we have the expected goal involvement and the predicted points from Fantasy Football Hub. Now, Fantasy Football Hub's kind of top pick for the next 3 weeks is going to be Muniz, and obviously as you can see with those fixtures, 2 newly promoted sides, 2 home fixtures as well. West Ham defensively did concede quite a few XG conceded in game week 1. Also statistically last season they were very, very poor for XG conceded, and I imagine it is going to take a few weeks for Lopetegui to kind of address those issues. Leicester in that first half definitely looked like a team where they could be gotten at, and then obviously the flip side of that with Ipswich, second half they were very, very weak, and again feel like a team that you could be targeting. And for me, I think if you are looking for a Solanke replacement and you've not got that money in the bank, Muniz seems like the sensible option to me. Good predicted points, amazing fixtures coming up for him. I think as well he is their clear number 9. They've got Raul Jimenez, they've got Jay Stansfield, but those kind of seem like secondary strikers. So for me, I reckon I'd be saying at least Muniz is going to get 75, 80 plus minutes in every single one of those games as well. No European football to worry about or contest with for Fulham as well. So for me, he feels like a man who is probably, for those 3 fixtures or for the next 3 fixtures, is going to get decent minutes. Projected points are pretty decent, and as you can see, pretty good data as well on this list. If I was to pick a second kind of favourite option, it would be between Armstrong and João Pedro. I think for short-term fixtures, Armstrong definitely kind of out-muscles João Pedro. João Pedro's fixtures are decent around 4 and 5, but we saw how good Brighton were in that first game, and definitely a team I would be, maybe looking at and potentially considering as well. I think, though, Armstrong and Southampton looked very, very decent in game week 1. Now, historically, he's never been a good Premier League player. I think the max he's ever scored in one Premier League season is 4 goals. So it's a little bit low in terms of goals in the Premier League. However, in the second division, the Championship, he is a monster, as we can see from his stats last season as well. 0.82 goal involvement per 90, putting up good data as well to go with that. Pretty kind of between, I would say, Wissa, João Pedro and Armstrong, very close for predicted points, to be honest. So no real issues for those two either. Someone's just said, what about Mateta? He went off with an injury at half-time, so that kind of rules him out as an option for me. I need to check what Glatzner has said, but for me, I saw him go down. Obviously, was late back to kind of the camp as well. So I wouldn't be looking at that one. But I'll go and check for you if he is fit and available. But I don't think he is. So I would probably avoid him. And I still think I would prefer Muniz over Mateta as well. But yeah, to be honest, these are my top forward options. I would probably say it goes Muniz, Armstrong, João Pedro, Visser, and then probably Calvert-Lewin. Everton, statistically, usually are just not a team that create a lot. He always manages to underperform his XG conceded as well, but it is what it is. Right, let's answer some of the questions around this. Jamie's got the right idea. Make sure you hit the like button and show some love to Tom. That is massively appreciated. See how many people we can get in here as well. Of course, we are trying to hit that 7,000 subscriber mark this weekend, and it is definitely possible to be doing that today. We've got a deadline stream tomorrow as well, so make sure you are obviously hitting that subscribe button because we will be live at 8 o'clock tomorrow. I'll probably be the only one nice and early, so you know, if you do have any questions or want your team rating nice and early, I will be up, I will be available to give you guys top quality advice. We're having some people in the chat say about Jackson. Jamie said, is it Jackson party time? I wasn't overly convinced with Jackson's performance. I think he definitely created some decent XG, but I think with the amount of attackers that Chelsea have got, especially now signing João Felix as well, and Cuckoo can play up top, you know, it just seems like there's too many players there. I think for the next few weeks, he will be their starting striker still, but I just can't see it. I really, really can't. I know he created some good opportunities, but it's just not worth it. Thank you for the donation as well, VJ. Massively appreciate that one. 99p donation, mate. If you do want to, obviously, you know, sign up for the channel membership as well, that only costs 99p. So, you know, you get yourself a nice little cool emote. You also get some pretty decent emojis as well to use in the chat and get a little bit of priority as well. FPL Bateman said, 3-hour deadline stream, you manic. Bro, the last one last week absolutely finished me off, to be honest. It really finished me off. Is Muniz and Smith Rowe a good idea? I mean, you're definitely covering off that Fulham attack, but as we'll come on to see, they're not one of the teams that are projected to score immensely over the next few weeks in terms of goal involvements, but still very, very decent, to be honest. What about Vardy due to the price rise tonight? Is he meant to be going up? I haven't even checked. Let me just have a quick check of Fantasy Football Hub's price predictor algorithm. Where is it? Price changes. There it is. Again, if you want to go and check this out for yourself. Oh, he actually is. Make sure you guys can see this. Can you see this? Sort of. It's not great. It's not great. What about that one? That's not worked. Of course, of course. There we go. You guys can see that. Boom. So as we can see here, Vardy is predicted to go up tonight. Bernardo Silva as well. Erling Haaland, interestingly, is tonight as well. Chris Wood projected to go up tonight as well. There is a couple going down. Elanga, Trossard, Trippier, João Cancelo, Aina, Sterling, Dubravka, California, and Tarkowski. So yeah, a couple going up tonight. Jamie Vardy's an interesting one for me. I think he could be a decent option, but I think with his injury record, his age as well, unless that I don't think have the best fixtures, I think he's an okay option, but yeah, I'm not 100% convinced. I don't think he's going to start rolling back the years, to be honest. So yeah, there was a lot of talk as well with him not really having a pre-season, that he wasn't even going to start in game week 1. So I think going for him now seems like a little bit of a gamble. Very similar to Dominic Solanke. We went for him, didn't really have a pre-season after coming back from the Euros, and has now picked up an injury. I feel a very similar thing could happen with Jamie Vardy, to be honest. We've had another donation as well. Thank you very much. QKA plus U0. He said, Solanki to Rich, unsure minutes, Jackson, Clown. Yeah, very, very fair. I think the Richarlison one is probably a no-go. Like, if we look at pre-season for Spurs, he played a lot of games with Kulusevski up top. We know Son can play in that 9 as well. They've just brought in a new left winger as well from Burnley. I believe he's a left winger. So for me, I reckon he's either going to play Son, Richarlison, or maybe Kulusevski as the forward. And I think, for me, I just don't think it's worth that gamble. I think Jackson is a much more better gamble. Like, if he scores in the next few, They've got decent fixtures and definitely could play. But again, it is that plethora of players and rotation that for me is not worth looking at. I think, especially early on in the season, transfers are so valuable. You need players that are just going to be playing consistent minutes. I would say out of all those options you have recommended there, Richarlison or Jackson, Jackson is going to be the better option. But for me personally, I feel like going for somebody like Muniz is probably going to be a little bit better, to be honest. Cool. Right, let's get back to the screen we were on. I believe that one. Wabam, wabam. These are my options. Obviously, if you are just joining the stream, we are, of course, talking about Dominic Solanke replacements and potential players you could look for as well. Someone said, what about Welbeck? Again, had a decent game week 1, but I think with Ferguson, you know, edging closer to fitness, they can play João Pedro up front. They've just signed Rutter as well, who can also play as a forward. There's plenty, again, of competition. The fixtures are a little bit mid for the next 2 as well. I expect Brighton to go and beat Manchester United tonight. I know that's like, you know, like a little bit hearsay if you like, but it is what it is. No worries, man. Anytime. You don't have to obviously donate, but it is appreciated, and I really, you know, I'm very, very grateful for that one. Too many on Muniz. Yeah, I think like, you know, he is the popular pick, but there is very good reason for that. And if you look at his ownership, it's still, I think, just tipping over 10%, so it's not anything crazy. But, you know, if you are looking for a differential, probably Jackson is going to be the right one to go for. I have Rodgers. Do I play him this week to avoid a hit, or Solanki to Muniz, or Mateta? I think you've got Rodgers. He will play and looked decent. And if we remember back to last season, Villa actually did the double over Arsenal. So I think that's fine. I won't be taking a hit for that. Not for me. Not this early on either. Solanke and Nkunku out for Muniz and Foden. No Haaland for -4. Now, that one is interesting. But I feel this year, with the ability to bank transfers, it does make a -4 feel a little bit more pricey. You know what I mean? It just feels that way with us having that ability. But that is a very, very tasty -4. Now, Nkunku could play decent minutes this week and could get attacking returns. We've only really got 1 game week worth of data to kind of be judging his minutes off. But if I was to do a -4, I think that would probably be up there as one of my top ones, to be honest, Mustafa. I think, again, it gives you a nice route into that City kind of side, and as we'll come on to see with some data as well, it does look like City are probably going to batter Ipswich this week. So I think that's a decent -4 move. I get why you're doing it. I would obviously just on the side of caution at the start of the season. What do you think about mega high risk, me transferring out Solanki plus Saka to Gordon to get Haaland in my team, but having 2 new 5 millions as starters? Nah, I don't think that's worth it for me. I mean, like, if Rodgers is going to be one of your starters, there's rumours that they're signing Sterling. So again, just not worth it in my opinion, to be honest. But yeah, it is what it is. Keep the questions coming in, guys. Keep those likes coming in as well for the stream. Massively, massively appreciated by me. If you are new around here as well, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button, as we are trying to hit 7,000 subscribers. Will Solanke's price decrease tonight? No, he was not on that list. But I imagine with people mass selling him, he will start to, you know, be kind of heading towards a drop at some point, maybe tomorrow night as well. I've been surprised to see so many content creators talking down the away game at Villa for Arsenal. A lot talk about it like Villa are a mid-table. No, Villa are not a mid-table side. They did the double over them last year, and it's not a write-off. Villa literally are probably one of the reasons Arsenal did not win a Premier League last season. That is genuinely the reason. And I think Arteta will, of course, go and look into that and make some changes off the back of that. But for me, I still think they're a great side. And we'll come on to look at it now, because this is the projected data. If you've watched any of my videos this season or a few of the Euros, you know I absolutely love betting data. It's the reason I'm doing so well in EFL fantasy at the moment as well. So it's just a little bit of a cheat code. The betting markets know what they're talking about. They're never going to price somebody ineffectively, if you know what I mean. There'll obviously be variables and stuff like that, but I feel it's always a good way to look at teams you should be looking to target. And as we can see with that Villa-Arsenal game, they do have them, you know, projected to win and projected to get a clean sheet more than some other teams, but it's not by and large clear like some content creators are making it out to be honest. what to do with Bruno if he blanks again in game week 2? I think they've got a nice fixture in 3, right? Or they've got quite a difficult one. No, they've got Liverpool in 3. It's different. It's really difficult because I think in that first game week, he definitely should have come away with a double-digit point haul. And I feel if he looks amazing again, it's going to be so hard to sell him. Because if he can't keep racking up data like that and not putting the ball in the back of the net. So let's wait and see on the performance first before judging the player, I'd say. No worries, mate. No worries, Scotty. Glad I could be of assistance. What to do with Anderson now that he's moving to Fulham? Sorry if you've already answered this. I missed it watching the ad. I didn't. But my advice would be I'm a little bit sceptical whether or not he'll play. I don't know if the transfer's gone through. Someone will have to confirm that in the chat for me. But I'm not 100% sure the transfer's actually gone through. So if that's not gone through by today, then for me, I don't think he's going to be playing in Fulham's game tomorrow. So I think longer term, it'll be fine. And there's definitely some great fixtures for Fulham. But you want him to play this week, realistically, if you need him to play. But yeah, just someone let me know in the chat if that transfer is like officially gone through. Like I've seen the Fabrizio Romano one, but I've not seen it like officially from the club. So if someone could let me know on that one, that would be stupendous. Would you start Son or attack a fixture and get Foden? I'm in the exact same position. And I'm going to stick with Son. I think with the news that Solanki's out and the fact that Everton have got quite high defensive injuries, I'm going to give Son one more week. But I can 100% see why you are swayed by the Foden move. I'm swayed by it as well, so it is what it is. Play Bailey versus Arsenal or sell Solanke? I'd play Bailey. Not worth the -4 in my opinion. Yeah, Arsenal really, really struggled against Villa last season. 100% Jamie. Who do you think is the better pick for this week? Nkunku or Bernardo Silva? Or maybe save 1.5 million and go with Rodgers? I think with Gundogan being back, that limits Bernardo Silva's minutes. We're unsure on Nkunku. And Rodgers, there's rumours that Sterling might be joining Aston Villa. So again, that's going to impact his minutes. So all of those seem like a little bit of gambles to me, to be honest. Fair enough, mate. The -8. It's a little bit like rogue at this point, but if it gets your season back on track, I'm sorry if you heard that, but some guy just decided, tonight's the night. I'm going to go down this street at doing like 45 in a 20 zone. What a dick. Sky Sports saying that Fulham have completed the Anderson deal. Sweet. Sweet. Thank you very much for that, Laura. Fulham have signed him. Thank you very much. How many points do you feel Minter will get versus Manchester United tomorrow? I'm smelling double figures. He looked really good. And if we remember correctly about, Brighton and Manchester United, they usually win. And as we can see here with the projected data from Rob T FPL, I'd argue that United here are going into that game as not the favourites looking at that data. There's only marginal gains for projected goals and a projected clean sheet. Only 1% and 0.5, but it's still favouring Brighton over Manchester United. So it's very, very interesting to see that. Some other fixtures, obviously, to be targeting this week. Manchester City, very, very dominant. Like I said, if you are thinking about the Haaland triple captain, we will come on to talk about that in a little while, but definitely could be a fantastic option this week. Less double game weeks to consider. Very, very high projected goals. I don't think we're probably going to see higher than this season, or at least for the next few weeks, to be honest. So it definitely gives you a great option. If you've got Gavardio or maybe made the move nice and early to Lewis as well, 55% is a great chance of a clean sheet. But on the flip side, Liverpool also looking pretty decent. So if you are like myself, you only have Mohamed Salah, then 2.95, pretty decent for the, Salah and Jota. Again, Trent, Robertson, 40% clean sheet, very, very decent. If you've got Son, like myself, again, probably worth holding off with strong projected goal data against Everton. A weakened backline as well, so probably worth one more week before making that switch over. Same goes for Nkunku for me, in my opinion. The Chelsea data is suggesting that they are going to score a few goals this week as well. He did score in the week. So I think he'll start, but again, it's probably only going to be around 60 minutes. But then we'll have 2 game weeks of data. We'll probably see which other players are emerging around that price point and make a little bit better of an informed decision rather than kind of, risking it this week, to be honest. Starting Nkunku or Smith Rowe? I think I'd actually gamble on Smith Rowe. I think he's got the better fixture this week. Palmer injured? No, Palmer is not injured. Maresca came out after the game yesterday and basically said that he had like a limp or something, but he's completely fine. They've checked over him. He'll be available. Do you think Wood starts in game week 3? I'm not worried about this week. I am, yeah. Obviously, they've signed Nketiah. I don't think he'll go straight into the side, but he could at some point obviously break into that side. And Chris Wood, aside from scoring his goal, which was a very scruffy goal if you've watched the highlights back, didn't really do too much in the game to kind of talk about. So I feel they will be looking for a potential replacement. And if he has another stinker, it is what it is. As a United fan, I'm a little bit fearful for Brighton game. Minter and Matoma could do a number on us. They really, really could. Praying Haaland blanks or at least is in double figures. Yeah. I mean, 1 goal is fine. I feel like this is the thing. With Salah doing so well last week and Saka doing so well, if you went against Haaland, it worked. I'm not deluded enough to think he's not going to go and get like a score. He's not going to go and score a goal or anything, but it's more damage limitation. 1 goal is fine. 2 goals is pushing it. 3 is starting to enter, you know, dangerous territory, to be honest. Yeah, Smith Rowe for me, I think is the better option, to be honest. Big up Jamie in the chat as well. Appreciate that one. FPL Tom question. Wildcard inactive. Go for Matoma or Bernardo Silva long term. I think with Gundogan being back, Matoma is the better option for me. What to do with Solanki and Kwanzaa? I have Bailey and Kwanzaa as possible stand-ins. Yeah, I think that's the thing. If you've got a transfer available this week, it might be worth taking Solanki out. Kwanzaa and Barco. We'll talk about those very quickly as well, because obviously Barco's left. And what that means is his price is actually going to remain locked. So he will never go down from 4 million now. So you don't really have to worry about him or waste a transfer on him. Same with Kwanzaa. Like, he probably might drop again before the next deadline, but it's not worth wasting a transfer this early on to fill it realistically for a bench player, because you're only going to be able to bring in a 4 million defender unless you've got money in the bank. So it's not worth doing, in my opinion. So yeah, that's the way I'd go on that one. Hi Tom, do I sell Solanki or play Nkunku and save my free transfer? I mean, if you've got Nkunku, I think I'd play him and save the transfer. Haaland scored 4 times from 4.7 XG versus promoted teams. That's very good. That is very good. Obviously, we've kind of, been briefly touching on Erling Haaland as a triple captain option. This is data from 11FI for projected goal involvement. And as a non-Haaland owner, looking at this, it terrifies me. 1.24 projected goal involvement is frightening. It really, really is. Obviously, though, the only counter set I do have for that is as a Salah captainer. He's not too far off. Most weeks I would be very, very happy with 0.91, but it is that 1.24 that obviously is very, very good for the people that are obviously looking to captain, or maybe even triple captain Erling Haaland as well. Now, we've kind of been alluding around it. There's going to be less double game weeks this year, because usually blank game week 29 is a week where the FA Cup quarterfinals go into. That is now no longer a thing. Instead, they'll just play those weeks in a different week, and game week 29 will remain a full week of fixtures. So that blank's gone, which means a lot more less doubles for teams further down the line. Now, it's still not going to mean, we're not going to get double game weeks, but we're definitely going to get a lot less. And if you look at the chips that we have to play this season, we've got a bench boost, we've got a free hit, we have got, of course, a triple captain, and the mystery chip itself. We don't know what the mystery chip is, but I'm imagining it's something around maybe a limitless, or what they've got in Fantasy EFL, where your highest scoring player scores the best points or gets the captain for that week. So for me, all those other chips, I would prefer to use in a double game week. I think that's what they're there for, realistically, or a blank, if you're looking at the free hit and maybe looking to cover off some decent teams if they're blanking. But like I said, we're going to have less blanks and less doubles this year. So the triple captain feels like the only chip that could be utilised in a very effective way in a single game week. And I think that's what Erling Haaland could represent this week, to be honest. So 1.24 projected goal involvement. Amazing. Pretty good stuff. If we move over to the Fantasy Football Hub predictor tool for this week as well, as we can see, 8.7 predicted points. It is scary, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at the anytime goal involvement as well, I think it's around 89% for any goal involvement this week. So it bodes really well. Liverpool also created the most XG this week against Ipswich. A lot of that came in the second half. Pep will have definitely watched that, notified where they were struggling. So for me, it feels like if you are thinking about playing that triple captainship this week with less double game weeks coming out throughout the season, Haaland could be the man. He could be the man. Now, I'm not saying it's like a guarantee that he's definitely going to bag goals, but he definitely could be a great use of the triple captainship. So if you are thinking about it this week, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but let me know what you think about it, to be honest. FPL Bateman has said Haaland only had 17 touches versus Chelsea. Wonder if Ipswich can keep him quiet. Maybe. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. I'm playing a wildcard, Eze and Welbeck or Isak and Winks. Ooh, I think I'd probably go Isak and Winks, to be honest. But yeah, let me know what you think about the potential use of the triple captainship this week for Erling Haaland. Do you think it's worth it? Or are you maybe thinking about using it as well? Or have you kind of got other priorities on your mind and you think maybe just a captaincy could potentially cover enough? But I think with quite a lot of managers actively looking to use that triple captainship this week, I think his effective ownership could be close to maybe 200% plus, which as a non-owner scares the living daylight out of me. It really, really does. But, you know, we'll roll with the punches. We're waiting. We'll be there no matter what. So I won't worry about it. Do I just wildcard out of this? I took a -4 for Jackson instead of Solanki for the easy Chelsea fixtures. I had already used my free transfer for Robinson instead of Kwanzaa. I mean, that's fine. Like, those are completely fine moves. And I don't think it justifies using your wildcard this early. Like, a wildcard is to get you out of a position or, you know, set you up for something. And I feel that -4 has got you back on track. So I think that's not worth using the wildcard for. My team in Matchday 2 is Henderson. We'll do team reviews in tomorrow's deadline stream. So we'll go through those there rather than in today's one as well. I spent almost all of last season staring down the barrel of data like that. It only takes a few weeks of having him blank to for the fear to subside. Very, very valid, Jamie. Very, very valid, mate. To be honest, I think you're definitely onto something there as well. Salah or Erling captain Haaland. I think if you've got Haaland this week, you have to be captaining him. Otherwise, what are you paying the 15 million for? It just has to be done, doesn't it? I've captained a Liverpool player every week for the last 2 years, so stubborn, you'll never walk alone. I mean, if you are a Liverpool fan, just have a little bit of fun with it. Enjoy it while it lasts, I'd say. Right, let's move on to some other stuff. This, again, is data from 11FI. This is projected goals over the next few weeks. So definitely, you know, when we are looking for potential striker replacements, maybe some areas where we should be focusing some of our attention on. As you can see, over the next 3 to 4 weeks, I would argue that there's some pretty decent projected data for Fulham. Despite them being quite low down, obviously it is some fixtures around matchday 6 and matchday 7 that definitely do tank off their projected goal involvements. But the opening few weeks, definitely worth a little bit of a Mooney's punt as well. So for me, very, very solid as well. For the people that are maybe thinking about Nicholas Jackson, the projected goals are definitely there and the fixtures are definitely there. It is just a big case of whether or not he is going to be good enough this season to last. The two key standouts obviously are going to be Manchester City and Liverpool. Some great projected data for them. Arsenal as well, despite some tricky fixtures, it is more the matchday 6 and matchday 7 that is definitely pulling them up in terms of projected goal involvement over the next few weeks. So worth a little bit of consideration. And I think for the people that do have Chris Wood, we've obviously outlined him potentially being a little bit of maybe a risk going forward in terms of minutes. If you look after match day 3, the data absolutely nosedives for projected goals for Nottingham Forest. So definitely a team I would be looking to get off. Maybe if you've got that double up, maybe you've got like a Morgan Gibbs-White, a Hudson-Odoi, a Chris Wood, would be looking to obviously start to switch away from. And right at the end, I know I've had a few people ask me about obviously Fulkrug and Jared Bowen and people like that. West Ham for me over the next few are not worth looking at, but as you can see, matchday 7 is starting to tilt in the other direction. So that's for me when I would be looking at, you know, obviously bringing in those West Ham boys when that projected data is starting to curve up a little bit as well. Interestingly as well, for those that have bought in United defenders for this week, obviously Mazraoui was one of the top transferred in defenders. 1.75 projected goals, a little bit higher than the data we saw from Rob T, FPL, and the betting data as well. So it's suggesting that Brighton are fancied to go and get a couple at least this weekend against Manchester United. In the early kickoff as well, so Mahatma Gandhi will be at play, so maybe just one to consider if you do have some United defenders playing this week. Lucas said he's holding on to the triple captainship, just hoping for a double game week. I 100% understand that one, mate. I'm playing the team that you said has 100% AI rating, but it says 97% on Fantasy Football Hub. Yeah, sometimes it changed. Like, obviously, I made that video in the earlier part of the week. Obviously, data and stuff changes, and they'll obviously manipulate their algorithms and stuff like that. So things will change, but we can go and take a look at that for you as well. Are the abilities triple captain bench boost limited? Yeah, you only get one per season. You get 2 wildcards, one before game week 19 and one after game week 19. Everything else you just get the one use of. Chris Wood is the only option that seems like he's worth it at the Premier League, proven and not shy of braces and hat-tricks. The only problem with Chris Wood is obviously they've signed Nketiah. Didn't look great in the opening game. They've also got Taiwo Awoniyi, so there's a lot of competition starting to form around him. Start Gabriel or Hall? Who's got better clean sheet projected data? That's probably what I would be looking at. Let's have a look. Wrong one. Let's have a look here. So Newcastle's projected clean sheets are 22. Arsenal's are 32. So I think just using this data, I would be suggesting go for an Arsenal one. Go for the Gabriel, to be honest. I want the bench boobs chip. What the hell's that, Jamie? Do you want to tell me what that is, mate? Pretty sus behaviour from you. The bench boobs chip. I'm interested. You've got me interested. What is it? Describe it to me. Right, let's look at some clean sheet data as well. Obviously, we've had a few questions around that. Obviously, the big one there being which team is better. Again, this is from 11FI. Go and check them out. There will be a link in the description. A lot of free stuff on their website. There is some stuff behind a paywall. And obviously, I contribute myself because they do amazing work. So it's definitely worth it for me. But yeah, let's look at some clean sheet data. Let's focus in a little bit on this week. As you can see, the Manchester City ones are pretty much aligning with what the betting data is said from SpreadEx. Also, you've got the Arsenal one a little bit higher than the data as well we saw in the previous section. So again, if you are potentially considering, you know, which way to go, Newcastle or Arsenal, some of you are suggesting, you know, playing Lewis Hall, or do I play, you know, Gabriel? 35 to 20% here, so I think for me it's a clear favourite. I would be backing Gabriel. The data is suggesting that as well, so I think I would obviously be going for that one. As well, some other standouts for this week. Liverpool at 36, I am a little bit concerned by that. Obviously, the betting data has got them a lot higher. And I think if I was a Trent owner, I would feel a little bit more confident. Those that have brought in, obviously, Robinson this week from Fulham, a 34% chance according to 11FI. So, again, pretty decent data as well. And Pedporo being back, it does look like they are expected to be one of the top teams for a clean sheet this week. So, I'm feeling very decent and very, very good about that one, to be honest. I think, though, as we can see, the data is starting to tail away, and I'm obviously concerned that Pedporo isn't going to be able to get an attacking return every single week. So I am obviously trying to find ways to go and get Trent Alexander-Arnold in the team. As you can see, Liverpool, better projected clean sheet data, better fixtures as well. And I thought he was absolutely immense and also managed to create the most expected assists in game week 1. So definitely worth considering on that one. Is Enzo really bad to play? I mean, he'll probably play, but he's just not a good FPL asset. What's the biggest punt you've ever taken in FPL? I mean, last season we had Craig Dawson, and at one point that just stunk. But a couple of years ago, I brought in KDB before that Wolves game, if you remember rightly, where he got like a hat-trick in 30 minutes. That was probably... why is Wolves bottom in all the data? They aren't that bad. It's the fixtures. They're not projected to do well with these fixtures. I think they're playing pretty much everybody in the top 6 or the traditional top 6 over the course of the opening game week. So obviously their data is going to reflect that. And if you look towards the back end of last season, I think they failed to win in their last 12 games. So, yeah, that's probably where it is. Is anyone worth the -4 for Solanki? Maybe Muniz, but I think if you can get by with bench players, I think the transfer will be more valuable next week when we'll have more information. We'll probably find out if Solanki's, back in training, stuff like that. Might not require you to make a transfer next week. Might not, be able to do that. So, yeah, I think saving the transfer is better than using it this week. But if I was to, do it, or, in your case, take the minus, probably would be Muniz. FPL Tom, wildcard, go for Pickford or Martinez? Ooh. I think I'd go for Martinez. The fixtures are definitely there. So I would probably go Martinez, I think, on that one. I've had Dawson for his hauls last season. 14 pointers was meant. That's the only time I didn't have him. Like, I had him when he was just crap. Like, absolutely dismal, and I was fuming. Transfer out Solanki when I have João Pedro. No, if you've got João Pedro, I just play João Pedro. The real question is, are you putting in a Leeds player to try and get inside the top 10 today? No, we're not going for it. I don't want a Leeds player in my team. I'll showcase my fantasy EFL team at the end, but yeah, I don't want a Leeds player in there. I don't think they'll win. I genuinely don't think they'll win today. I think they'll draw again. They need to buy new players. They're not looking as fluid as they were. But yeah, I'm not bringing anyone. Thank you for the advice though, mate, on obviously the captaincy. We brought in Mansfield's third choice goalkeeper, so we are going to captain him and take the Crowley points all the way. And I did a little bit of maths. If I do that and obviously looked where I would be with an extra 18 points in the side, we move up to 27th in the world, which is just like mind-boggling, to be honest. Yeah, just mental. How are you feeling about tonight's game? Play Murillo or transfer out Solanki? I would play Murillo. The Forest clean sheet, 26%. It's not too bad for this week, so I'd probably play Murillo. You triple captain in Haaland? No, let's go and get my team up very quickly for you guys to see. Obviously, we've kind of ran through everything, to be honest, that I do have obviously prepared for you guys. It should be this one. Boom, there's my team for this week. This is how we are looking. We obviously have rolled the transfer. Could have taken Kwanzaa out, but I went against it. I thought it's not worth the transfer. Next week, I might have bigger problems to obviously deal with. If Nkuku's an early substitution, we might have to deal with him. Obviously, if Son blanks again, we're going to have to deal with him. And if Anthony Gordon's coming off in the 60th minute again, could be a concern going forward for future weeks as well. So I think we're going to be in a better position next week to judge the players a little bit more. We could very well see a Son hat-trick this week. Didn't look great on Monday night, but we never know what could happen with that one. And Nkuku as well could see decent minutes this week, could pick up some goal involvements as well. So, yeah. Can Anderson start this week? This is the big question we've been having. And I am going to go and quickly find some projected Fulham lineups and stuff like that, because I am a little bit concerned about it, to be honest. But we'll go and have a look. Like I said, I will be live as well tomorrow for the deadline stream from 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribe button as well, and hitting the bell notification so you will be notified when I do go live tomorrow at 8 o'clock. But we're going to stay live up until 8 o'clock tonight here, answering your guys' questions, working through some stuff as well. So do keep the questions coming in and we'll talk through some stuff as well. Son to Palmer next week if Palmer is fit. That is one of the plans. Like, if Palmer looks better this week, I'm very, very tempted to do that. But we are going to have to find that 0.5 million from somewhere, so it might involve me dropping Nkuku down. But I am interested in Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. How bad is it to use the wild card right now? I would only recommend using the wild card if you are desperate. If your team is looking desperate, if nobody's playing, you've not really got too much bench cover. Otherwise, it's game week 1. Be patient. You pick these players for a reason. There's a reason you've set the team up in a certain way. Have a little bit of faith. Have patience. You're not obviously it's like going to the roulette table, right? Going, right, okay, I know that, blacks come up all these times. I'm going to go red. then it doesn't land on red and goes black. Like, for me, you've just got to, like, have a little bit of patience, trust the process, trust your decision making, unless your team is shambolic and you've got injured players left, right and centre, you've got minutes risks. That's obviously when then I would be looking to use that wildcard, because for me, I think a wildcard should be used in two scenarios. One, to target great fixtures. The second should be as a get out of jail free card. That's if you've got the injuries stacked. That for me would be if I had Solanki, Kwanzaa, Barco, maybe like who else got injured this week? I don't know, but like you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say to you guys. It should only be used in like desperate situations or for planning to target certain things. So that would be my advice on that one. Transfer out Solanki and buy Richarlison seems very short-sighted, and we don't 100% know if Richarlison is going to start this game. I hope Gordon redeems himself this week, as I chose him over Jota. Same for me, mate. I really, really hope so. But yeah, he's not usually a player that does perform quite well away from home. So yeah. Do you think Solanke's price will drop before the deadline tomorrow? I definitely think more people will sell him. I don't think he's currently flagged in the game. But if he is, that will definitely lead to a few people selling him off tomorrow morning. So, yeah. Is your EFL team the same? I copied. The only player I have changed is my goalkeeper, but yeah, it's the same. Tom, are you okay with your bench depth for the moment? Yep, I'm not too worried about it. Like, I think towards the start of the season, there's not going to be as much rotation, so I'm not going to have to hope that players come off the bench, but it is what it is. We've got one fit player. We'll deal with it as things come in, but I'd rather have a really strong 11 than worry about my bench depth. I'm not looking to hit that bench boost anytime. We've got Harwood Bellis if needs be, but yeah, we are a little bit light at the moment, but I'm not going to address it with free transfers. I rather would spend that to get a better player in or, build something amazing. Any Leeds players in tonight's game for your EFL team? Nope, no Leeds players. Not for me. It's not the way I play the game. If you do follow me or watch any of the EFL fantasy content, my kind of strategy is realistically, like, it's so hard for people to get into that game because you look at it and it's like 1,000 players just right in front of your eyes. What I do is look at the betting data and target the best teams for clean sheets, projected wins, and projected points. Now, with that, you can very easily narrow 1,000 players. And what I was able to do was narrow my midfielders down to about 8 players I wanted to realistically pick this week. Same to about 6 forwards, and then around 5 defenders and 5 goalkeepers. It takes basically a massive player base from 1,000 down to probably, like, I'm picking then from 20 players max for a week. So obviously, if you want to, progress and do well in that game, that would be my advice. And it's worked extremely well over the opening couple game weeks for me. Use my betting data that I've provided on Twitter and in my videos. Look at then the kind of the key players, if you like, the talisman from those teams. So last night we had Crowley, if ever Mansfield come up, DKD, Luke Molyneux from Doncaster. These are the players that are going to play like a lot of minutes. They'll pick up like just passing points, interception points, take a lot of their set pieces as well. That's the way to play this game, and that's the way you're going to get a good finish. So yeah, that's enough about EFL Fantasy though. I am aware this is a FPL stream. Hopefully the game continues to get bigger and maybe we can make some more content on that one. Really struggling to replace Solanki. I could go for Mateta but already have Eze. Yeah, I don't think I'd go for Mateta. Especially coming off at half-time in the last game with a knock. So, and you've already got Eze covering that Palace attack. Wouldn't be obviously doubling up on that one. Should I take Bernardo and Kuku out for Bernardo? No, I don't. I would not recommend that. Triple captain thoughts? Yeah, we've kind of already briefly touched on it already, but I definitely think triple captaincy is a viable option for this week. Some of the Haaland projected data looking very, very good. The betting data as well for Manchester City's predicted goals for this week, definitely steering him in the right direction. So worth some consideration for me, to be honest. What do you think about Smith Rowe? Didn't look great. Played a lot deeper role than I was expecting from him in match day 1. Now they've obviously signed Sanderberg. You imagine he's probably going to push a little bit further forward. And I would like to see how he gets on against the lesser opponent. But realistically, I'm expecting maybe 60 to 70 minutes from him again. Just down to the fact of he's just not played consistent football or regular football for long enough. So I definitely think, you know, a 60, 70-minute substitution is probably on the cards. But you're paying 5.5. He could very easily do quite a lot of damage within that period as well. So, yeah, there you go. Do keep the questions coming in, guys. I will try and find a Fulham predicted lineup for tomorrow's stream, so make sure you are in that one, because we have had a few questions asking about Anderson as well. Obviously, if you've enjoyed today's stream, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. We are going to keep going for a little while though and answering your guys' questions, because, you know, we've got decent numbers in here. Like I said though, we are trying to hit that 7,000 subscriber mark. Very, very possible for this weekend's kind of, you know, content as well, so it would be absolutely amazing if we go for that one. Do you think Nkunku could flop? 100%. 100%. But I'm not going to judge a player based off 1 week. It's just not worth it. Transfer out Solanki, Jamie Vardy or Welbeck. I probably would be leaning more towards Vardy over Welbeck if I had to pick between the two right now. That's the way I would be leaning with that one, to be honest. Let me see if I can find anything on Anderson and Fulham's predicted lineups for this week. Fulham versus Leicester predicted lineup. 22 hours ago, Leicester Mercury. That's not really what I'm looking for. Who scored? Maybe might have a decent one for me. There's pop-ups everywhere. I'll share it if it looks decent. They don't have them in. They've got it as Leno, Robinson, Bassi, Diop, Tete, Pereira, Lukic, Iwobi, Rowe, Traore, Muniz. So no changes. But I could very easily see Calvin Bassi or Issa Diop being dropped for Anderson, especially if he's fit and available. But yeah, I don't think he'll start this week. I really, really don't. I don't think he'll start this week. That's just my predictions on that, to be honest. But obviously, you know, things can change. Things can change very, very dramatically in FPL, can't they? I have Kwanzaa and Barco. Any tips? Jesus Christ. I would probably say if you've got decent cover for at least this week, I would wait, because all you can do with Kwanzaa or Barco is swap them out for a different 4.4. There's nothing you can really like project them towards, if you know what I mean. So I would recommend just leaving them unless you're absolutely desperate, and then I would maybe be looking to move to a Harwood Bellis. What player would you choose to replace Solanki for? Very good question, and we've kind of discussed this in the stream already, but this is my graph of the players I would be eyeing up if I was looking for a Solanki replacement, and one of them, and my top one to be honest, would be Muniz, second Armstrong, third João Pedro, fourth Visser, and then fifth Calvert-Lewin. Which team is the shirt in your background from? We've got a Dortmund one. We've got a Mansfield one, which was on the other camera. Let me switch that back, actually, so you guys can see it. So we got Dortmund here. We've got... I always hate this. Mansfield that side. There we go. That's a Mansfield one, which is the team that I support and where I'm from. And then over the top is the IFK Gothenburg scarf. Now, that was a video we did for the second channel. If you've never seen any of my second channel content, there is a, like, if you go to my channel page, you'll see it. Like, it's like labeled second channel as the playlist. But if you go to that, you can watch it. That video's got like 62,000 views. We're heading back to Sweden as well to go to the Stockholm Derby at the end of the month. And that channel, we are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers so we can get that monetized and obviously, you know, go out and make regular content and, you know, just pay for pretty amazing trips like that, to be honest. So, yeah, all decent stuff. Keep Ahmed or sell him for Traore. Just say yes because I'm doing it. I mean, Ahmed, I think time is limited. I don't think he'll start this week, but... yeah, Traore is an interesting one to replace him with, isn't he, really? I was thinking about getting Anderson... but does he start? Looking at some of the predicted lineups, no. But I'll do a little bit more digging off stream as well. What are you doing because of like Arsenal's bad fixtures? I'm just going to play them. If I get my team up very quickly, I will continue to play Saka and Saliba in the difficult fixtures. I feel if they're going to win the title this year, they need to be winning these more difficult games. Let me quickly get the fixtures up for you so you can see them. So if we have a look at them, Villa, I think, is fine. I'm not too arsed about. Like, it is what it is. Brighton at home, I imagine they'll win that one quite comfortably. Spurs away, the last few years, if you've looked at those fixtures throughout, and obviously look at Spurs' defence in game week 1 and towards the back end of last season, very, very leaky. There's always goals in that game, so I imagine Saka as well got a pretty decent record. City, it's going to be a title decider, but it's only a 1 game week game, so by game week 5 as well, we might have other players and other kind of alternative options to these players as well. But I'd still be happy playing Saliba or Gabriel. I think sometimes people look at these fixtures and just panic. And then after that, though, Leicester, Southampton, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Newcastle. It's just a great run, isn't it? It really, really is a great run. Team. Let me have a quick read of that one. Kovacic is an interesting pick, so probably not for me. The rest of the team, though, looks decent. What is the best 4.5 million goalkeeper? It's probably going to be Flecken, in my opinion. So, yeah. How confident am I of an Arsenal clean sheet tomorrow? They didn't really look troubled by Wolves. So, you know what? I'm going to back them for a clean sheet tomorrow. I really, really am. I think Arteta will have seen that game and he'll have realised that is where we dropped points last season, home and away, and that is where we probably lost the league title. So I imagine he, at that point, has looked at that and gone, that is the game we need to be winning this season. That is the game where we can make up this title. So for me, I think they'll be looking a lot better tomorrow. Any idea if I wildcard? I mean, James, I need to see your team, but, you know, it is what it is, to be honest, mate. It is what it is. Yeah. Make sure I need to see the team before, but as I've said in this stream, a wild card is either a get out of jail free card if you've got a lot of injuries, or to target amazing fixtures. I remember you saying, Marcus, you've got like Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, so yeah, I think you definitely you're hoping for it, aren't you? What did you get in game week, Tom? I got 71 points, so not too bad. We did obviously play Kwanzaa over Gvardiol, which was a little bit of a ring stinger, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Subs for Romero. I would play Romero this week. There's pretty decent clean sheet odds against Everton. So, yeah, I think I'd play him, to be honest. I think I would play him. Right, before we finish up, I just want to go and take a look at my... Where is it? I think it's that one. I hope so. Let's have a look. Bosh. Did it work? Did it heck? There we go. It worked. Before we finish up today's stream, I did want to quickly look at my fantasy EFL team. Obviously, if you are playing this game, it's really, really decent. I'll quickly spam my league code in the chat at some point as well. Like I said, we will be live for FPL deadline stream tomorrow, so make sure you are coming along to that one as well. And yeah, we'll have plenty of good stuff going off there. Like I said, we'll be live from 8 o'clock. We'll be doing team reviews. We'll be answering as many of your guys' questions. Hopefully getting some breaking team news as well. And hopefully we can hit that 7,000 subscriber mark, to be honest. But yeah. I thought we'd finish today's stream just looking at fantasy EFL and obviously players that want to play it. Get yourself signed up for it. It's a really interesting game, especially if you like English football. It's really one for the fans. Solanke out for Muniz or Visser. I think Muniz is my top pick, so I would be going with that way. A ring stinger, that's brutal. Yeah, if you've ever had like a curry that's a little bit too hot, definitely a ring stinger. Taking a look at my fantasy EFL team. As we can see last night, Crowley absolutely smashed it with 2 goals and an assist, 18 points. And you might be wondering, why has my goalkeeper got the captaincy? Well, Mason is 3rd choice goalkeeper for Mansfield. He won't play, which means then that Crowley becomes our captain. Means we get an additional 18 points, which is great. We've also got Latte Lat to play. We've got Ben Wills. We've got Molyneux, Halliday, Clark. If you've not seen my team selection video, go and check it out if you are interested in playing this game. I obviously kind of explain with all the betting data that I've got that these are the reasons that I'm picking these teams. These are the reasons that I'm targeting these teams as well. So it's all good. It's a very fun game and we're doing extremely well in it. And currently we're like rank 480, but with those extra 18 points, we move up to 27th in the world. So we're absolutely smashing it. If we continue that throughout this weekend, God knows where we'll be. But yeah, it could be a bit wild, to be honest. It really, really could. So yeah, that's how the team's lining up. Obviously, Leeds have just kicked off as well. But yeah. I kept Pandora. Why did you play a third choice goalkeeper? To get the Crowley captaincy points. That's why I'm playing a third choice goalkeeper. You can still make changes, but obviously Crowley's my vice, so it'll automatically make him captain, and I get an extra 18 points. So yeah, that is the reason behind that move, to be honest. But yeah, Leeds Sheffield United, Jeff Wednesday, has just kicked off. I think it's a pretty self-explanatory team, but yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It really, really is one of those. If I wildcard, goalkeeper Neto, Lewis, Robinson, Hall, Salah, Saka and Buemo, Soboslai, Andreas. It's okay. There's definitely better players to pick from. Leicester have signed Ayew from Palace. I mean, Palace are just getting robbed left, right and centre here. Saint, Haaland and Kai, decent strike partnership. Kovacic replacements. I don't actually know how much he is. How much is he? Is he like 5? Like, he's just, like, with them buying Gundogan back as well, we don't really know what role he's going to play, so. You can make transfers now? Yeah, you can make them up until the players play, basically. Kovacic is 5.5. There are so many better players at 5.5, mate. There really, really are. There are so many better. Minter is a better pick than Kovacic for me. Like, the fixtures might not be there for the next few weeks, but he's a much better, more exciting pick than Kovacic. But yeah, you can make transfers all the way up until players play with this. So yeah. All good stuff. I think we're going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to go and enjoy the Leeds game. Hopefully watch them lose and fall apart, because that's my favourite thing to do. Like I said, I will be live at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for the deadline stream. So if you do want your team rating by myself, head over to my Twitter, obviously, because that is where we'll be doing the team ratings as well. If you did enjoy today's stream as well, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen. Massively appreciated. And yeah, good luck.